You are now dialed in with the Dial Brothers.
Welcome to episode 14 of season 2, the Dialed In Show. How are you doing today, Stephen?
I'm good. I'm here on time.
yeah. It's good, in cold Atlanta today. It is not hot.
It was like 40 degrees in Dallas over the weekend. So, whatever we get, y'all get. So there it is. What was I about to say? Yeah, the weather has been weird. I mean, it's snowing in places. It snowed in part of Texas over the weekend. So but there's no such thing as global warming though, right? The earth is not having climate change.
It's just been raining here.
It rained all last week. It was bad. Like, I typically never get woken up by thunder, and I got woken up by thunder. It was, we had some crazy storms. So y'all are just getting that now.
Yeah. Not long after church on Sunday, there were a few of us that got stuck out there, and the bottom fell out. It was just pouring rain. It was like, oh my goodness. This is crazy. This is wild. So anything in Steven world interesting, cool happened since last week's episode?
Yeah. Just business.
No.
I mean, March Madness, my favorite time of the year, came to an end Monday night. We'll talk about that later. Who?
Don Staley.
I know.
And people are upset about, I think people.
Oh, who upset? What you talking about?
You haven't been seeing all people complaining about the one little clip reaction of her saying the F word, and people are all, you haven't seen that?
Yeah, I posted it on my story Monday. I'm saying people are upset about what?
They're saying that she's supposed to be
saying
a
like she was
model.
pouting or something?
Huh?
Like saying she was pouting or something?
Well, that's part of it. And then like she's supposed to be a role model. Why is she
saying all
this stuff?
I don't hear that. No, I think it was a very human moment. She hadn't had a big loss like that in years, so she was just frustrated. And
that what you said too about people saying you've won. Now
I'm saying in the moment, yeah, she was frustrated. I thought it was funny, to be completely honest. Like, everyone, it's become a meme. It's become a
weird because it was just like it just seemed misplaced. Because
but you didn't watch the game. If you watched
what I'm saying is the game wasn't close.
At that time of that statement, they were at least within striking distance.
Well,
so that wasn't them down 25 and she yells the F word. No, now I saw people criticizing the broadcast because they're gonna put the camera on certain people throughout the game. They made sure to show every reaction from Don after every play. But look, heavy is the head that wears the crown. They were the defending champs. They got their butts whooped. She said we got our butts whooped, and now they focus on next season. It's all right.
But what's his name? What's the coach of UConn name?
Dino Auriemma.
But good for him. I saw it said that Don Staley is the only coach that has ever beat him
in a championship
game. In a championship game. And that he's been 12 times.
No, he's won 12 times.
Oh, well, what I looked at was wrong. It said he been 12. She beat him in 1. He won 11.
This was his 12th ring.
Well, whoever, and it was a sports place that said that they wrong then, or you wrong, somebody wrong.
That was probably before the game. Now he has won his 12th ring.
So good for him.
Some people love and hate him. You gotta follow women's basketball to know. But legendary Pat Summitt didn't really take too kindly to him. But yeah, I mean, he won his 12th ring on the day before his birthday. He just turned 71. Congrats to Paige Beckers.
He looks great to be 71.
Okay.
71-year-old white man. He looks great.
He's Italian. Paige Beckers, congrats. Paige, the WNBA draft is next week. The Dallas Wings have the number 1 pick. Hopefully they get Paige Beckers. She is the presumptive number 1 pick. So hopefully UConn star Paige Beckers will be playing in Dallas. Yeah. Well, we've been doing One Has to Go. This one was a little different, so it's going to take some thinking. All right, would you rather not have deodorant or not have toothpaste? That's a head scratcher.
Not really for me, and some people might not
Oh,
agree with me, but I understand my logic. First of
okay.
all, let's just say which one we think should go. I say toothpaste. Which one do you say?
I guess I say toothpaste because you can eat gum or peppermints, or I mean, technically, that doesn't take away mouthwash.
Okay, but even if it did, even if this said that you can't freshen your mouth at all, like
Oh,
like here's my logic why I think the deodorant needs to stay is because you can just shut up, close your mouth. You go in a room, just don't
you can't walk around never talking.
just don't say anything. But if you musty, people gonna smell you just by you being present. So
But you can't just walk around and not talk for the rest of your life.
what
Okay,
does
like
it
let's
take?
say it's a 30-day challenge and you can't have deodorant or toothpaste. You
I
just go
still say no toothpaste because you just you're gonna be funky.
deodorant is just your underarms though, technically. That don't mean you can't take no bath or
Y-
no shower.
Yeah, but it's necessary. It's necessary. There's a reason why we deodorize our armpits.
There's a reason why we brush our teeth. What are you doing?
It was something in my mouth.
Oh,
Uh, but yeah, I mean that's true too. It's and y'all, do you? Well, never mind. Do y'all put deodorant in more than just your armpits? I'm curious.
I've done it before.
I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Put it in all kind of places. That's why I go through deodorant so much.
Oh my god.
But yeah. There have been times where I put on deodorant. People say, "What do you have on?" And I'm like, "Deodorant." Is yeah. I think it doesn't say. At least I've never read it. It doesn't say put this only
Right.
under your arms.
That is true. That
It's
is
to
true.
deodorize. So, especially on like a Sunday or something, anywhere I think I'm gonna sweat, put deodorant.
So deodorant is essential to you.
Right. So that's why for me, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Huh?
Got
So
to
you
keep the
just
deodorant.
so even if you couldn't do peppermint, bubble gum, mouthwash, you would still pick toothpaste.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna know your breath stink if you're not talking to them.
Mm. Like I said, if you did this for 30 days, you would eventually open your mouth.
This is well, this is probably like a bad segue. Either way, but shout out or not shout out. We lost one of our teachers recently. Mr. Stevens. He was my 7th grade
Oh
teacher.
wow. I didn't
You
know
didn't
that.
know?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, because did he teach you too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, news broke on the Dowding show.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, his celebration of life is this Friday. The reason I bring him up is because normally we talk about snacks and stuff. But
So you about to tell a joke about this man that just
no,
died? Wow.
no, it's just this made me think about it because normally in this moment we talk about would you give this or that up. Either way, funny story, y'all. Just real quick, in honor of my 7th grade teacher. I don't know what grade he taught Stephen.
Somewhere in middle school.
But he was my homeroom 7th grade teacher. He passed away. But y'all listen, one day, I don't know if I was talking too much or whatever. Really, that was more of a Steven thing than me talking too much.
Yeah, you didn't talk at all.
Yes, I did. You didn't. Yes, I did. Especially in school, I just didn't get in trouble. But either way, I didn't talk once I got to. Well, I was never there. That's a whole other conversation. But in school, I talked a lot. What's his
Okay.
name? Mrs. Stevens took me in the hallway and pulled out his phone and was doing all this on the phone with Reverend Dow, Micah such and such, Micah this, Micah that. So the end of the day, I get in the car with Dad, and he was mad at me about something.
Mhm.
And so I just go on and on and on, talking about Mrs. Stevens this, Mrs. Stevens that. And, Miss Stevens So he says, Dad says, he says, what are you talking about? I said, you talked to Mr. Stevens. And he said, I did not talk to Mr. Stevens. He said, Mr.
Told on
Stevens
yourself.
never called me.
Told on yourself.
Man, I was so mad. So I was in trouble for whatever it was he was already mad about.
Mhm.
And then I was in trouble about the Mr. Stevens stuff. I went to school the next day and I told Miss Stevens in the class what happened. I was so upset. And he said, like you said, you told on yourself. So just sharing that story in honor of Mr. Stevens.
Did he die naturally?
I have no clue. I know he was well, I don't want to talk about people's stuff. I believe he was hospitalized for a little second, but I don't know. I mean, he didn't get like shot or anything. No.
Well, prayers to his family.
Yeah, and I know he has a daughter. I don't know if he has any other children, but I know he has a daughter. But yeah. Stephen has some funny, he probably is not willing to share it about deceased teachers. Some funny stories, but
this is a funny story about him. I'm not about to talk about the dead.
oh.
Dog.
He's not even who I was thinking about because yeah, of course I got a story I can tell about him too, but it's not no. But I'm thinking about somebody else. And you know, when people pass away, you're not supposed to talk bad about them.
Why is that?
You're just not supposed to.
Why?
I mean, that's
a real question. Like we grew up thinking you're not supposed to talk bad about the dead. Why?
Now I don't think you should lie on people when they're alive either. But I don't see anything wrong with it.
I'm saying, why aren't you supposed to talk about the dead?
Well, the word eulogy, but you might say, well, I'm not eulogizing him or her, but the word eulogy means to speak well of. You're not supposed to speak bad.
Yeah, that's during a eulogy. What about after?
I mean, I think if your dad was an abusive drunk.
No. I'm just saying, like, you going too deep. I ain't talking about all that. I'm saying, you say you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead.
I mean, because and I also just think they're not here to defend themselves.
If you was talking about somebody behind their back, they ain't there to defend themselves.
It's just an honor thing. It's just that's all.
Okay.
It's just an honor thing. I mean, you do whatever you want to do.
Did y'all see this video? These guys, I believe this was in Texas. These look like black dads, younger black dads, are at some event, and some kid. The race doesn't matter. Some kid came up and just started drinking the guy's drink
in his hand with the straw.
Now, in the kid's defense, the drink was almost gone.
What that meant? That don't.
I'm saying he only had a couple more sips,
but still, I appreciate the way that the guy handled it.
Yes, they just laughed it off.
Yeah,
I'm happy it was not a drama type situation.
Yeah, but I probably would have been real ticked off because if I got that far down to my drink, then clearly I want this drink. Like I'm drinking it. And then if
you listen to the video, it sounded like the kid's dad asked him what drink was. I think he was buying him another drink.
Yeah. It all went well. And you know, I like when Steven shows these stories and everything goes well because we know these things could go left. Because what if he had like hit the little boy? Now that would have been funny too.
The little boy was like all in the cup. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like he was sitting next to him the whole time and thought it was his cup. He like ran up to this man and just started drinking out of his cup.
Shows you the innocence of kids' minds that
yes.
In his mind, he didn't understand why he couldn't drink it. But,
and again, like I said, it was kind of younger dad, so it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like no old, I don't know if he would have ran up to an older person. I don't know. Kid couldn't have been older than what, 4?
Oh yeah, he was young. And what would have been even more cool, because like you said, I think they had their kids with them. Now, what would have been cool is if one of their kids like hit the little boy and like, what are you doing? Like, stop bringing my dad to drink. But yeah, it was cool. But nowadays, especially if it was in Texas, you know, I'm supposed to be coming in for a con. I don't know if I want to come to Texas now. Y'all got measles and stuff. And
you have the vaccine. You are
y'all don't take care of y'all people.
You are protected for basically your life, sir. You all these impacted people. I actually did a story on it yesterday. But all these impacted people are unvaccinated. It originated in a community that I think is Mennonite. Their religion, they don't vaccinate, and now it's spreading to other unvaccinated people. It is the most, according to the health director that I talked to, the most contagious virus in the world. And the United States declared it eradicated in 2000.
And
I believe.
Texas about to mess it up.
Other states, there's cases in Georgia. It's just like
Nah, it mean they say Texas got the most of them.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Yeah,
do.
and I saw something. The lady said if Texas isn't able to get a control on it,
Mhm.
if by January it's gonna mess up that eradication thing,
Yeah.
and it'll like reopen it and say
Yeah.
it exists again.
Again, you have been vaccinated, so you are protected. It's
I
those
hear what
who
you're saying.
are not vaccinated. And even RFK Jr., who is critical of certain vaccinations, came to Texas this weekend and told
Me with a
people
dead kid parent.
they should get vaccinated. So there's that.
Just think if I was them, and
Well,
maybe
they
I
ain't
shouldn't word
vaccinate
this
their
the way
kids.
that
So what you mean?
huh?
They didn't vaccinate their child.
No, I'm saying if I was them and he came, and I
Mhm.
probably shouldn't say what I'm about to say because you know the whole like politically correct stuff with disabilities and stuff.
Mhm.
I would be like, I don't want your stuttering to come down here trying to talk to me.
He's not stuttering. He just has an issue.
Why has nobody talked about what is wrong with him?
He's talked about it when he ran for president.
Okay, what's wrong with him?
His vocal cords are like seizing or something. It's a spasm. It's like a permanent thing.
Ooh.
He's explained. It was Trump's first cabinet meeting. And it's crazy that we're talking about measles. He was asked about the reporter asked the president about the measles, and he was like, RFK. and RFK was talking, and he sounded how he sounded. And then he kind of coughed at the end of his question. And the reporter was like, are you sick? And he was like, no, I have an issue with my vocal cords. But it was crazy because the reporter was like, are you sick?
I could not work on his team. That would get on my nerves. Oh my goodness.
It's I'm not gonna lie, this ain't talking about someone's impairment. It kind of like my chest starts hurting when I hear him talk. Like it's just like
bad. It's like somebody save him. He's dying. Like it's bad. I don't and only because he, went over on Trump's side and all this other kind of stuff. If he had never done that, Trump would be talking so much mess about him. Because like what? It's bad. It's bad. I don't get it. But hey,
well, let's go out
we
of
can't
order.
be we can't be drinking off each other's stuff.
Oh, well, I'm about to say let's go out of order since we're talking about Trump. The tariffs. What are your thoughts? Just in general, it's only been a few days since President Trump said that we're going to do reciprocal tariffs. Actually, the reciprocal tariffs take effect when the show airs, but the baseline tariffs already started. The stock market has been negatively reacting, and former President Barack Obama said, "If I did this, y'all would be critical."
Yeah. There's so much to say about it. I mean, all the different statistics and everything that are coming out about how there was a 15-point swing in however short period of time during the first 100 days of a president. That's never happened before. That the only time the markets have looked like this were COVID, 9/11, and the Great Depression. That we're headed toward a recession, and even you see that y'all's Senator Ted Cruz is speaking out about how this is a tax on the American public, and that this isn't a good thing. And many Republicans who were or still are Donald Trump supporters are like, whoa, wait a minute, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who have to go back to these districts and states, and people are like, like this ain't cool.
Well, and I forgot who posted, but there was a compilation of, and everyone has flipped the script now that Trump is the president because they don't want to be attacked by him. But all these Republican senators who, in the past and Trump's first term and stuff talked about, I mean, it is not partisan to say the consumer is who pays for the tariffs, not the other country. That is
Right.
not statistically proven. The cost gets passed down to the consumer.
Yeah.
And so if we enter a trade war, you will start seeing things go up. That's not being a liberal or a Democrat or partisan. That is just an economic fact. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because prices aren't just going to shoot up instantly. But I think Mark Cuban said recently, he's telling people you might want to go ahead and buy overbuy some stuff before prices start going up, because they could go up.
Okay. We're about to go around the world a few times, but there's first of all, it is a tax on the American public, on the American consumer.
If this goes through, yes.
It is, and it's gonna go unless Donald Trump, and y'all, again, we record this on Tuesday.
Well, he said he's not going to go back, but
The
we'll see.
deadline is tomorrow.
Mhm.
Unless he changes something in the next 24 hours, and like you said, he says he's not changing it, but he's lied plenty of times before.
Mhm.
This is gonna go through.
Yeah.
From a Republican president, Republicans notoriously are for cutting taxes, because a tariff is a tax. It's just they don't use the word tax. It
Mhm.
used to be called years ago an import duty, but it's a tax. So this is the largest tax hike on the American public in I can't remember how many years, and it's being done by a Republican president. So even at the church, we've got different things going on with HVAC system and everything. Prices are already going up.
Mhm.
Bank is telling us, y'all need to go ahead and figure something out, because these prices are about to go up.
Mhm.
And here's the crazy thing, y'all, where they're just playing with all these people's heads. Now they keep talking about these negotiations. The whole thing is Trump has been claiming he's going to bring back manufacturing jobs. Here's the first thing.
That takes time.
Yes, the impact of that, if it were successful, wouldn't even happen until after he's out of office. It would take years to
Yeah.
bring these jobs back, and it wouldn't even be that many jobs. It wouldn't even be in like when we talk about steel manufacturing. Millions and millions and millions of Americans are not affected by that.
Mhm.
By there being a few plants in a few states, that is not affecting the large
Well,
population.
the
of people.
argument is that trickles down. Like, okay, if there's a factory in your town, then those workers will go to local businesses to buy things, and those local businesses will circulate the money in the community. That's the claim.
But here's the thing: where you can't, what it say, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mhm.
Trump is now trying to say that he's going to impose these tariffs, but if a country's willing to negotiate, they'll reduce or eliminate the tariff,
Mhm.
but also bring back the jobs. You can't have both,
Yeah.
because if you come to an agreement, then that means the jobs are going to stay in Vietnam.
Right.
But if you don't, then the jobs come here, and now you have this huge tariff. So you can't have both. But here's also the other crazy part about it. When you look at the percentages in relation to what country are getting what level of tariffs,
Mhm.
it's all backwards. Some of our closest allies have the highest tariffs.
Because Trump says that they are unfairly, and if these numbers are accurate, I mean, the numbers are disproportionate if you look at it. But I just don't know if this is the way to go about it, especially with
not.
your allies. And I think, up until this point, Trump uses tariffs as a negotiation tactic. And so if he internally is like, we're not going to actually follow through on this long term, this is to make people come to the table. If he pulls it off, then he's a political genius. But I just don't know if certain countries are just gonna, like China and stuff. They're not our ally, but China ain't gonna be like, oh, okay, we're gonna do what you want. Like, nah.
Watch, because China has already said
Mhm.
that tariffs don't do anything to them, because
Right.
they make all their stuff.
Yeah.
So they're not importing anything. It's like,
I mean, they get some stuff from us, but
yeah, but not like how we get from them.
right.
iPhones are gonna go up, cars are gonna go up, Food is going to go up. Everything's going to go up for the American consumer, all because Trump is trying to prove a point that's not going to get proved. That's the thing. So all the people who voted for him, it's like, y'all explain this. Explain how this is good for the average American. It's not. You can't justify it. This beautiful word.
This is definitely a long run type strategy, because like you said, okay, if he is successful, okay, a manufacturing plant ain't just gonna open in Conyers tomorrow, and then there's gonna be 600 employees in a month, and you know what I'm saying. So there's a process. So we'll have to wait and see. But things aren't looking good right now. I'll put it like that.
And you piss off literally the world. Who
No,
are
I
they going to
don't
go
think he has
to?
any issue with that.
They're going to go to China. They're going to go. He is just making the United States of America become less of a world power because he's fighting an economic war that was not necessary.
We'll still be a world power. We got the nukes.
China got him.
I know. What I'm saying is that doesn't make us less of a world power. That just makes us.
What I'm saying
people
is,
already don't like us. Let's be completely honest about this.
what I'm saying is,
not many people like the United States. They tolerate the United States.
But what I'm saying is, America for the last century has been the standard. Even you talk about the American dollar has been the standard. Doing stuff like this and you pushing people more and more, and I say people, I'm talking about other countries, into like China's hands. The United States dollar is not, it's already not as strong as it used to be.
Correct.
So when you lose economic power, the day somebody stands up and we start losing these bases around the world, that's the only reason. If we didn't have that, we'd be done.
But we do have that.
We do have it. But at some point, it starts with we ain't got no money no more. When you think about it, technically we already don't.
How about that? We already don't. What you mean?
We are trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. All we have going for us is our guns. That's it. That at any point we could blow somebody up. Which I mean, that's a pretty strong.
That's a big it's a big bullet in the chamber though.
but it's just like, okay, but and you talk about, people talk about World War III. You let people like China and Russia align, and really Russia's not as strong as people thought they were, because
they already are aligned, to be completely honest.
But I'm talking about like in a serious way. If people, and we can get off of this, but if you really look at it, and this is all documented, you can go look at it for yourself. China has like a 200-year plan of how they're going to become the world power. We can't be consistent from one president to the next. Like we're not. It's just a mess here. You got doggone Marjorie Taylor Greene as the whatchamacallit of the doggone whatchamacallit committee. And then your girl, is she your representative, Jasmine Crockett?
I do not live in her district, but she represents Dallas.
She's cool, but the more I've been watching her lately, and this is Jasmine, if you some kind of way watch this is 100% my opinion, not reporter Stephen Dow's opinion.
I'll still get a text.
This is just me. And she's I don't know, because I've been watching a lot of her stuff lately.
Well, she was the main topic of my show 2 weeks ago. We talked about, because we saw her as a state representative in Austin, right? And so I think she's playing a role for Democrats that Republicans have their characters, people that play their role. And I think she's trying to do that for Democrats. Now, has she changed a bit from when she was just a local state representative? Yes. But some people resonate with that. You know what I'm saying? People already call Democrats soft. And so she's trying to provide an alternative. But you know, that rubs some people the wrong way, and that makes some people come to her camp. So it's just we talked about her 2 weeks ago on my show.
I get, being a bull in a china shop sometimes is
Mhm.
necessary. I get speaking truth to power, not backing down, blah blah blah. I get all that. But I don't want to say this because I know the argument is going to be, well, the other side doesn't have any, but I just want her to have a little more decorum sometimes. She cussed too much, and I don't have no issue with cussing, but I be watching and I'm like, okay, now you ain't have to cuss right there. It's just
But again, if you look at the other side, and I'm trying to talk very in the middle. But if you look at the other side, I mean, Donald Trump says stuff. Yeah, he don't curse all the time, but he says stuff, and people are just like, "Oh, it's Donald Trump." And so, it's kind of our conversation was like, is she getting criticized, but Trump gets a pass? Like her comment about the governor of Texas,
yeah, the Hot Wheels
calling him
comment.
Hot Wheels. Donald Trump has mocked physically a person with a disability, and so I think she is playing a role and just trying to be an alternative for the Democrats that is not an image of soft. Now, I think she can be in her seat for a long time as long as she wants. But if she seeks statewide office, some of these things may come back to bite her because at some point you're going to need some, moderate Republicans or some disenfranchised Republicans. But that's a that's down the line. I don't know what she's running for.
Hmm. Speaking of that, it's still, in the vein of I guess black women. Our former mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms,
Mhm.
is about to run for governor of great state of Georgia.
Interesting.
Um,
Look, I look at it like this, and I sent it to y'all last week. I mean, and see, this is gonna just sound so defeated, so I'm trying to say it in a proper setting. I get Democrats in states that have uphill races. You got to put somebody forward, right? You can't just, oh, we're not going to try to be competitive. I just wonder some of these candidates who do run or say they're going to run, like, okay, so if you run and get blown out, like, then what do you do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is your not legacy, but like, all right, like, do you have a backup plan? Like, it just sometimes it's certain races. I just feel like, is this a waste of
well,
money?
Well, a lot
Or
of people run knowing they're going to lose. Their
Mhm.
goal is just to set themselves up to do something different. They're getting their name out there. Like all these people who run for president, they do
Mhm.
that to just be in the cabinet
Right,
or vice
right,
president or something.
yeah, but they're not getting like they're losing one election and then dropping out. Like this is
Mm,
like a big election. So
yeah.
your thoughts about Keisha Lance Bottoms running for governor of Georgia?
To go back to Stacey Abrams, losing might have been one of the best things that ever happened to her personally.
Mhm.
She started this whole coalition of now. Don't ask no Republican, don't ask Donald Trump because they claim that Biden gave her $1 billion,
Oh,
which
okay.
that's misleading.
Mhm.
But now I do think it probably is true that she had some affiliation with the organization that received federal funding.
Hmm,
Sure, but did she get $1 billion? No.
okay.
Um, so I think and sometimes, but to run for some of these offices, even think about Obama, there's gotta be some level of crazy in you. When I say crazy, I'm saying delusion, like of that you could win. And it worked for Obama. But Obama, he was a perfect character though.
Mhm.
I mean, and we can go down the list of first of all, he was a man. He was tall, he was slim, he never had any scandals, he didn't have no sons, he just had two little girls, he was a senator, the whole his mama was white,
Mhm.
the whole nine. Uh, with Keisha, I don't think she's gonna win. Number one, I don't think she's gonna win.
Mhm.
Um, don't shoot me in the comments for what I'm about to say. The next few cycles, um, for these top positions, we're talking about like in red states.
Mhm.
Um, these next few cycles, we can't put up women. Is
Yeah, you're gonna get blown up in the comments.
Well, what I'm saying is
I get I get the intent of what you're saying.
it's,
Well, let's talk about the next presidential election. Yeah, the
it
Democrats are
cannot
gonna
be
need
a
to,
woman.
yeah. Now, you listeners, you take that how you take it, but politically speaking,
Especially
the
not a
country
black
has
woman.
shown now multiple times that they are not ready to elect a woman. That doesn't mean that's right.
Right.
But just talking about politics in America.
So how much do we want to be woke and we're going to keep losing elections? No, you need to win, make some adjustments, changes over time, and then try and put up another female, especially the amount of female of color. That's not gonna. Now, I will say this: if Trump keep doing what he's doing, midterms, Congress is flipping Democrat.
Yeah, at least the House. Yes.
Yeah, is, and then depending on how much you jack up the
And
economy.
Hakeem Jeffries will be the first black speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's been getting criticism. It's a lot.
And you know who need to go is Chuck Schumer.
People were saying that, not because he did the filibuster thing, but some people were saying, what's his name? Cory Booker should be the next leader of Democrats in the Senate.
That's just hype.
I mean, he's been there the longest of minorities. He's been there the longest now, I think. I mean, he's not, no newbie on the block.
No. Do I think he's deserving and qualified? Yes. But what people have said this before he did the 25 hours? No.
What senator do you? No, it's not because he did the filibuster. That's what I'm saying. Like, no. What senator do you think could replace Schumer as currently minority leader?
For some reason, and people might not like this, and I know what I just said about women, but this is different. I like Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
I think she can kind of hold her own a little bit. I liked her little spar with Ted Cruz last week, a few days ago, something like that. I think she could be, in her own way, a Nancy Pelosi for the Senate.
And she's in a kind of safe. I don't think she's at any risk of losing her seat. I mean, Cory Booker isn't either. But yeah, I mean, I think you need someone who's in a safe seat. Like, ain't nobody who you make the leader and then they lose election in 2 years. No, that's a good name.
I think she could be a good person. Like I said, not saying that Cory Booker is not qualified, not saying that he doesn't deserve it. I just think we've got to play the long game and say, all right, because think about it like this. Let's say hypothetical situation. They make Cory Booker the majority because it's about to flip. Well, I mean, it's gonna flip.
I think the House will flip. I don't think the Senate's gonna flip.
But if Cory Booker could become the Democratic leader in the Senate, and he's talking about Hakeem Jeffries in the
people are not.
America is not about to let that happen. You talking about two black men?
Well, Cory would be the minority leader, not the majority leader.
But it's gonna flip at some point. Even if it doesn't flip in the next, it's gonna flip. America is not about to let the Senate be run by a black man, the House be run by a black man, and then God forbid something that's any type of liberal is the president of the United States. That's not about to happen. And if it did happen, where we're gonna feel the pressure is these state elections. The governors and stuff are gonna be radically to the right. So it needs to be, if I could put it how I say it should go, Amy Klobuchar as the Democrat leader in the Senate, Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House, and then a nice middle-aged white man as the president. That would and again, don't shoot me in the comments. Older white guy. I tell you what we need. We need the JFK administration. Nice, clean, pretty, young president, and an older LBJ as vice president, who's moderate, who Republicans get along with. That's what we need after Trump. Let's stabilize
Well,
this
that's what
thing.
Obama Biden technically was. I
Yeah,
mean,
but Obama
Biden
was
was.
black. But yeah,
I'm saying Biden was the long time
yeah,
older statesman, and Obama was this young, flashy new kid on the block.
the advisors and the team that put that together, beautifully done. Beautifully done. Here you got this young black guy, not a speck of gray in his head, and then you get Biden, who,
And it's funny, we thought Biden was old then.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Looked old then.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
just seeing images of Biden from '08 and him now, it just, man, you'd think 40 years went by.
yeah.
In the age, the office ages you, but you, man, it's just dramatic. All right, off politics.
Wait. One more thing, and I know there's a whole lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda, and really, the vice presidential pick didn't sway it in any way as far as Kamala Harris not winning. But as much as I fell in love with Tim Walz, if she was going to lose anyway, I really wish they had gone with the governor. Was it from Pennsylvania? And the only reason I say this is because it would have been a good layup, good little alley-oop for him to come and run for president.
But he could still do that. But
he
I
still do it.
He
but
was already kind of like battle tested, trial run, blah blah blah. Yeah,
it would have put him on the national level.
He is on the national level. Trust
What
me.
I'm saying,
I get what you're saying. It would have had his face out there. It would have been, yeah. No,
people would have seen his name. Because now, don't nobody know his name.
People know.
He would have been on the ballot. So it just would have been a good way to prop him up. See, this is what I'm saying. Who the Democrats not thinking long term. I know the whole thing about he would have overshadowed Kamala Harris.
It was a rare situation. Those situations don't come by. They come by maybe once in a lifetime. So I don't think we can technically judge 2024 against just past years because that situation just doesn't happen. It doesn't. We're never going to see that situation happen again in our lifetime. We're not.
And you know what's interesting, bringing it back to Georgia, and I know we're about to get off politics. There are a couple other people just, behind closed doors that have made kind of intentions of possibly running for governor. With this news of Keisha Lance Bottoms running, I wonder, are they going to still run or drop out?
Who?
I don't want to say.
Oh, okay. This is secret information.
Well, yeah, they ain't said it publicly, so yeah.
So how you know?
Well, because people, I can't answer that.
Okay.
But it's just, I think if she does run, I will say this: whoever it is, we need to get behind them wholeheartedly. And so if she does, well, she says she is. I don't think nobody else needs to run against her.
But that's not going to happen. I get what you're saying. You're saying Democrats should coalesce to save the drama and wasted money of a heated primary when you got a bigger target to worry about. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's not how politics works. All right, moving off politics, our last two stories of the day. One, this man asked a judge, I think it was the Supreme Court in New York, asked a judge, could I do a video presentation for my oral arguments? And they said yes. They started playing the video. It was AI, a computerized man saying, "Your Honor, may it please the court." The judge was not happy.
I mean, this is a school where you can't plagiarize and stuff. So to me, if you can use an attorney, why can't you use AI?
She said, "Sir, I've heard you talk for 30 minutes. Why can't you talk now?" I think she was saying, why can't you say what you typed in the computer to say? He typed it.
Okay, but you let your lawyer speak on your behalf?
I think he is a lawyer. I think.
Well,
I think.
Hey, I say he used his resources and
clearly.
Hey, how did it end? How did
I don't know. Well, she made him talk, so maybe he's like, because he kept pausing too. She was like, "Go ahead," and he's like, I don't know if he put it through Chat GPT or what, but all right. The last thing, March Madness is a big part of my life. I love it. College basketball, college football is the best. Monday night, the University of Florida won the national championship. No one cares about Florida. Their coach is the youngest coach since Jimmy Valvano since the 80s to win. So props to him, yada, yada, yada. But I saw an interesting thing that it's probably been reported before, but like when someone posts something and it's like, it's all about timing. Like this organization, and it's accurate, they posted about Kelvin Sampson's contract, the University of Houston's head coach. I was cheering for them because one, I live in Texas now, and two, he's a black coach. They lost. His son has been his like associate head coach, and he didn't just start last year. He's been doing this for a little while. It was brought to people's knowledge during the game when Kelvin Sampson signed a contract extension in 2023. He got it written in there that his son, Kellen, is the coach in waiting. And like whoever his agent is, it's great. They already like agreed to what his salary will be, agreed to that the son can hire the dad as an advisor if he wants to, and he would get paid $300,000. Like, one, props to his agent, whoever did this. Two, just what are your thoughts about this? And let me give you a little context because you might not know about Kelvin Sampson. He's been in basketball for decades. He left the NBA to come to coach the University of Houston. Since being the coach, they've gone deep in March Madness tournaments. This was their first time back in the national championship game since Hakeem Olajuwon and stuff. But the university, like the basketball program, is totally flipped. It's on the rise. This school is spending millions of dollars to build a new practice facility and all this stuff. With that said, so it's not just some random coach. What are your thoughts about him getting it written into his contract that his son, when he retires, is his successor?
I'm biased to stuff like this just because of my own life's experience, even though it wasn't like written into a contract that I would be the next pastor or whatever. But I think as long as, and I don't know if this is in there or not, I think it's great. Let me first say that. I think it's great. But I think that as long as from the school's perspective, or even like me with the church, I think as long as there's some type of clause in there that now you got to win.
Well, yeah. They could sign him to a 2-year and then fire him.
Yeah. So I think like going from dad to me at the church, for example, I've been there a little over a year now. Let's say stuff plummeted. Then, yeah, okay, forget him. He stuff ain't working. So but I think with that, if the program just goes to doo-doo after the dad retires, then, but if his dad's still around to advise him, if it prospers, great. I think it's genius.
And he's been learning under his dad right now. He ain't just pop up on the team yesterday. He's been a part of the coaching staff. So, I think it's cool. You'll have some people to say, that's nepotism, whatever. But, people do that anyway. So, at least this guy is learning from his dad.
Yeah.
Now. But I just thought it was interesting. Front Office Sports, they always post some cool, stats and stuff. It's just the fact that he's the coach in waiting. He's gonna get $2 million a year. They already have it written out. I think it's genius. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the dad, they got it set up to where the dad gonna still get money,
right?
Yeah,
because why would you not hire your dad as an advisor?
Now I think they would have to be careful with that too. And right now I'm just talking about from a father-son perspective. Advise from a distance. Don't show up.
Yeah.
Because then people are like, well, who's the real coach? So I hope that, the dad can really let it go and don't mess stuff up in their personal lives. But that's awesome. I think that's great.
I wish he would have won. They did not win. And the game ended dramatically. I know you didn't watch, so you'll find it. Just watch how the game ended. It sucked.
I watched a couple games at Mama Sen's house a week or two ago, and I said, you know what? I might get the YouTube TV or something just for the rest of the month. to watch these games because it was good, you know.
Mhm.
But again, I don't come in the house and say, let me sit down and look at TV. I just don't.
Mhm.
That's not my routine.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the Dialed In Show. We'll see you same time, same place next week.
Bye.